In April, whispers began circulating through a quiet, remote village in Kenya. Strange things were said to be happening near the edge of the savannah. The villagers brushed it off at first. After all, life was quiet, and the wilderness had always kept its distance. But what they were about to witness would shake them to their core. A surreal scene unfolded before them. A young lion, alone, far from the vast savannah he called home, had wandered into unfamiliar land. No one in the region had ever seen a lion this close, let alone one in such a vulnerable state. Over the course of several days, perhaps even weeks, the lion had traveled across harsh and foreign terrain, eventually arriving at the outskirts of the village. Behind him lay hundreds of kilometers of forest and bushland, his world left behind. Before him stretched a strange, dry landscape. He had only one instinct now: survive. Weary and malnourished, he stopped by the edge of a river, eyes scanning the alien surroundings. His body bore signs of the harsh journey. He had covered nearly 700 kilometers, crossing unknown lands without food, shelter, or safety. Time and again he attempted to hunt, but each effort ended in failure. This land was barren compared to the lush savannah. The vegetation was sparse. The sun scorched in unfamiliar ways. There were no antelope, no zebras, no prey, only silence. In the distance he heard faint sounds, human voices, movement, life, but instinct warned him to stay away. Still, hunger and exhaustion eventually overcame his fear. In a desperate move, the lion approached a large structure on the village's edge. He didn't know it, but it was the local ranger station, a place dedicated to protecting wildlife like him. With the last of his strength, he collapsed at the entrance. His body trembled, his eyes filled with pain. It was as if he were pleading for help. A ranger named Daniel was the first to find him. Stunned, he immediately called for backup. Within minutes, 2 more rangers arrived. The sight was staggering. A majestic lion with a regal golden mane, lying injured and helpless. One of his front legs was twisted, and he couldn't move it. The pain was etched into every part of his expression. Though the rangers felt fear, compassion took over. Cautiously, they approached to examine him. It was clear he was in critical condition. The team contacted Kenya's Wildlife Conservation Authority, who were equally astonished. This was not just rare, it was unheard of. Veterinarians arrived swiftly and treated his wounds. The lion was given a shaded space to rest, away from danger. Slowly, strength began returning to his body. Word of the lion spread quickly through the village. The locals began to visit him every day. Some brought meat, others simply sat in silence near his enclosure. They named him Zuberi, meaning strong in Swahili, a name that matched both his resilience and spirit. Though he ate very little, it was clear he recognized their kindness. His eyes no longer held fear, but trust. Soon, people from neighboring towns came to see the lion who had emerged from nowhere. He became a local legend, an icon of survival and unity. But the experts knew something the villagers were beginning to understand. Zuberi didn't belong there. As much as they loved him, as much as he had grown to trust them, he needed to return to the wild. The savannah was his true home. But the journey back, nearly impossible. It was long, dangerous, and beyond anything he could manage on his own. Still, the villagers wouldn't give up. They had saved him once, and now they wanted to give him something even more powerful than safety: freedom. Regional Governor Emmanuel Owit reached out to Jaffe Mutwa, the Minister of Emergency Affairs. Together, they crafted a bold plan never attempted before: to airlift Zuberi by helicopter and release him where he truly belonged. Ranger Daniel and his team began work on a custom-built cage. It needed to be sturdy, secure, and safe for the lion during the flight. After 8 days of preparation, everything was ready. Zuberi was lightly sedated to keep him calm. Carefully, the team moved him into the cage, then onto the waiting helicopter. The entire village came to see him off. Children waved. Elders whispered prayers, some wept. Applause broke out as the helicopter lifted into the sky, carrying the lion they had come to love. But halfway through the flight, something no one expected happened. Zuberi woke up. Tension filled the cabin. Hearts raced. A panicked lion could spell disaster for everyone on board. But Zuberi did something remarkable. He didn't roar. He didn't thrash. He looked around, confused, alert, but calm. A wildlife expert named Matteo Kariuki, who was aboard, later said he had never seen anything like it. Zuberi was clearly scared, but his composure was extraordinary. He simply watched the world from above. Hours later, the helicopter landed deep in the heart of the savannah, the place of his birth. The cage door was opened. Zuberi hesitated. He sniffed the air. He looked around. Then, suddenly, he leapt out and ran, his movements swift, powerful, free. The savannah welcomed him back like a long-lost son. Cheers erupted from the team. The impossible had been done. But Zuberi's story wasn't over. Months passed. Life in the village returned to normal until a severe drought hit the region. With water sources drying up, desperation spread across the land. One scorching afternoon, a herd of elephants, maddened by thirst, stormed the village. They trampled crops, tore through fences, and chaos ensued. Just as all hope seems lost, a powerful figure appeared on the horizon. Zuberi, bigger, stronger, fearless. He roared, a deep, thunderous sound that shook the earth. The elephants stopped in their tracks, stunned by his presence. Zuberi didn't attack. Calm and composed, he moved deliberately, guiding the elephants away. Step by step, he led them to a nearby waterhole, then disappeared into the wild once. Again, the village was silent, awestruck. The lion they once rescued had come back to rescue them. Zuberi was never seen again, but his legend lived on. A story passed down through generations, a powerful reminder that in even the wildest corners of the earth, the bond between humans and animals can be real and eternal. The skies withheld rain for months. Rivers thinned into cracked beds of dust. The earth turned brittle beneath the villagers' feet. Crops failed, and even the hardiest wild animals began to falter in their desperate search for water. By late afternoon one scorching day, the crisis reached a terrifying peak. A herd of elephants, their senses overwhelmed by thirst and confusion, thundered into the village. They were massive, frantic and unstoppable, tearing through fences, flattening homes, and devouring what little remained of the village's crops. The people fled in panic, helpless against the force of nature descending upon them. And then, from the edge of the horizon, a silhouette emerged. It was Zuberi. Now fully grown, majestic, towering, and powerful, his golden mane glistened under the blistering sun. With unwavering confidence, he strode into the chaos and positioned himself between the village and the rampaging elephants. He didn't growl. He didn't lunge. He roared, a deep, commanding sound that echoed through the land. A roar not of rage, but of leadership. The elephants halted. Their massive frames trembled as they faced the lion they somehow recognized, not as a threat, but as something greater. Zuberi held their gaze, then slowly turned. With calm, deliberate movements, he began walking, leading them away from the village. Step by step, they followed him, not in fear, but in trust. He guided them toward a hidden natural spring just beyond the hills, a place only someone born of the savannah might remember. There the elephants drank, calmed, and found peace. Back in the village, the people stood in silent awe. Some wept. Others whispered prayers of gratitude. The lion they had once saved, broken, injured, and lost, had now returned stronger than ever to save them. After that day, Zuberi was never seen again, but his legacy remained, passed down in story and song, carved into memory and spoken under starlit skies. He became more than a lion. He became a legend, a timeless reminder that, even in the wildest corners of the world, the bond between humans and animals is not only possible, it is real and often eternal.